Have you ever looked at someone you love and realized you didn't actually know them at all? That is the nightmare Ashley Morgan is living right now on Beyond the Gates. And honestly, it is one of the most heart-wrenching things we've ever seen on a soap. Was this really just a grand romantic gesture that went wrong? Or was it something way more selfish? We're diving deep today into that shocking secret Derek Baldwin kept from Ashley. You know the one. The secret that didn't just break her heart but actually shattered her entire sense of reality. Think about it for a second. Imagine you spend every single waking hour taking care of the person you love. You modify your home, you change your work schedule, and you carry all the emotional weight because they're paralyzed. Then one day you walk through the door and see them just standing there, walking around like nothing happened. That's what Ashley went through, and the fallout has been absolutely wild. Why did Derek do it? Was he a hero with a plan, or was he just playing a psychological game? Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the miracle that turned into a disaster, I want to hear from you. If you were in Ashley's shoes, would you be happy he could walk, or would you be too angry to care? Let me know in the comments, because we have a lot to unpack here. To really understand why this hit Ashley like a freight train, we have to look at who Derek Baldwin was. He wasn't just some guy, he was a firefighter. He was the guy who ran into burning buildings to save people. His whole identity was wrapped up in being the protector. So, when he had that terrible accident during a triathlon and lost the use of his legs, his world didn't just stop. It imploded. And who was there to pick up the pieces? Ashley. She didn't just stay, she leaned in. She turned her studio apartment into a space for his wheelchair. She became his arms, his legs, and his cheerleader. But here's where it gets messy. The sources tell us that Derek started making progress in physical therapy with Shanice Johnson. He started feeling his legs again. He started standing. And then he started walking. But did he tell the woman who was literally carrying him? No. He stayed quiet. He lived in what the sources call a fantasy world for months. He let Ashley keep struggling, keep sacrificing, and keep crying over his condition while he knew the truth. Why would a hero do that? Well, his excuse was that he wanted to surprise her on their wedding day. He wanted to walk down that aisle and shock the world. But is that a gift for her, or is it a gift for his own ego? It's almost like he wanted to be the hero of his own movie. He wanted that cinematic moment where everyone gasps and calls him a miracle man. But he forgot that a relationship isn't a movie. It's a partnership. By keeping that secret, he turned Ashley into an outsider in her own life. He let her be a character in a script he was writing without her knowledge. And the funny thing is, he wasn't alone in this. This is the part that really gets my blood boiling. Ashley wasn't just betrayed by her fiancé. She was betrayed by her entire circle. Naomi knew. Jacob knew. Even Shanice, her own supervisor and friend, knew. Everyone was in on the surprise, except for the one person it affected the most. Can you imagine how that feels? Finding out that while you were grieving for your partner's old life, your best friends were watching him do laps in the gym? It makes you question everything, doesn't it? It makes you wonder if they were all laughing at you behind your back. The sources say that Jacob actually tried to warn Derek. He told him he couldn't keep this up forever. But Derek wouldn't listen. He was too obsessed with his perfect moment. He was afraid that if Ashley knew he was okay, she wouldn't need him anymore. And that is where the real psychological issues come in. Derek was addicted to her needing him. He mistook her caregiving for the only reason she loved him. When Ashley finally caught him, it wasn't a celebration. It was a powerful blow to her heart. The sources describe her looking at him with eyes clouded by a thick fog. She couldn't even breathe. It wasn't just the lie about the legs. It was the lie about their entire life together. She realized that every conversation they had for months was fake. Every time he acted like he couldn't reach something or needed help, he was acting. That is a level of deception that is hard to recover from. No wonder she called off the wedding and told him to get out. But then, just when you think the drama can't get any higher, Derek dies. And not just any death, a hero's death. He takes a bullet for Jacob in a warehouse shootout involving a plasma ring. It's like the writers wanted to give him one last chance to be the man he always thought he was. He went from a liar to a martyr in about 10 seconds. And now the fans are fighting about Ashley's grief. Is she overdoing it? Some people say yes. They point out that they weren't even together when he died. They say she's acting like a grieving widow, just for the attention. But is it really that simple? Think about the guilt she must be feeling. The last thing she did was yell at him and kick him out. She never got to have that conversation where they actually fixed things. She's mourning the man he was, the man she thought he was, and the man he could have been if he'd just been honest. It's a messy, complicated grief. And it doesn't help that her friends are still around, probably feeling guilty themselves because they kept his secret. The whole situation in Fairmont Crest is just a pressure cooker of regret right now. And let's talk about that shootout for a minute. Derek wasn't even supposed to be there. He followed Grayson Perez to that warehouse because he didn't trust him. Even at the end, he was trying to be the tough guy, the one in control. He died because he couldn't stay out of other people's business. He wanted to prove that Grayson was slick and untrustworthy. But instead, he ended up proving his own bravery by saving Jacob. It's such a tragic irony. He spent months lying to protect his love, and then he died protecting his best friend. Now we have to look at the fallout. Ben Gavin, the actor who played Derek, is officially out. He said in interviews that the death was a total shocker to him. He knew his character didn't have a family or a job, which made him expendable, but it still hurt. And honestly, it hurts the fans too. Whether you loved Derek or hated his lies, he was a huge part of the show. His death leaves a massive hole in the story, especially for Ashley. She's already moving on with Grayson, but is it too soon? Derek's mom, Jan, is even getting involved. And here's a wild thought. Is Derek really gone? We're on a soap after all. The sources mentioned that Doug McBride just came back from the dead. Everyone thought Doug died in a fiery car crash after a night of drinking and gambling. But nope, he just showed up to his daughter Deanna like nothing happened. If Doug can survive a car explosion, could Derek survive a surgery? Probably not this time, since the actor has confirmed his exit, but in the world of Beyond the Gates, you never say never. The return of Doug McBride is actually a really interesting parallel to Derek's secret. Doug let his family grieve for 8 months while he was somewhere else. Why do these men in Fairmont Crest feel the need to lie to the women who love them? Doug has some kind of mission for Deanna. It makes you wonder if Derek had more secrets we didn't even know about yet. Was he involved in something else? Was this surprise really the only reason he was hiding his recovery? Sometimes I think these characters live for the drama more than they live for each other. Let's go back to Ashley for a second. The fans who say she's overdoing it might be missing the point. When you lose someone you were supposed to marry, you don't just stop loving them because you had a fight. The betrayal and the love are wrapped up together. She's probably replaying that moment she caught him walking over and over in her head. She's probably wondering if he would still be alive if she hadn't kicked him out. That kind of what-if thinking can drive a person crazy. And now she's dating Grayson, the guy who was actually working for the plasma ring at one point. Talk about jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Grayson feels guilty too. He's the one Derek followed. If Grayson hadn't been involved in that shady business, Derek would still be home, probably still trying to apologize. It's a giant circle of guilt. Jacob feels it, Naomi feels it, Grayson feels it, and Ashley is drowning in it. And then you have people like Shanice, who had to be the one to tell Ashley that Derek didn't make it. Imagine being the doctor who has to tell your friend that the man you both shared a secret with is dead. The emotional layers here are just incredible. So, what do you think is next for Ashley? Is she going to find out more about what Derek was doing in his final days? The sources say she felt like she was part of a game that everyone else was playing. Do you think she can ever truly trust Naomi or Jacob again? If my best friend knew my fiancé was faking a disability and didn't tell me, I don't think I could ever look at them the same way. It's not just about Derek. It's about the total collapse of her support system. The writers really took their time with Derek's final moments. Ben Gavin mentioned that his last shot was telling Ashley not to be afraid and that he loved her. It was a beautiful, tragic moment that was meant to hook the audience. And it worked. We're all still talking about it. We're all still debating whether he's a hero or a villain. But maybe he was just a flawed human being who made a really, really bad choice. He wanted to be the man on the white horse, but he ended up being the man in the gurney. There's also the question of the plasma ring. Leslie is terrified that the scandal is going to ruin her nonprofit. Leah Whitmore really messed things up for everyone by engineering those deliveries. It's funny how one secret, Derek's recovery, is connected to this much bigger, darker secret of the plasma ring. Everyone in this town is hiding something. Whether it's a medical miracle or a criminal organization, the truth always seems to come out in the most painful way possible. I want to know your theories on Doug McBride too. Why did he wait 8 months to show himself? And why only to Deanna? Is he trying to protect the rest of the family, Or is he using her for his mission? Feels like history is repeating itself. First Derek hides the truth for love, and now Doug is back with his own set of secrets. It's like a plague of dishonesty in Fairmont Crest. Do you think Ashley and Deanna should just team up and start a No More Lies club? Because they definitely need one. The funny thing about soaps is how they handle these exits. Ben Gavin's status was changed to recurring before they finally killed him off. It's like they were testing the waters to see how the fans would react to Derek being a bit of a pushover, or a liar. And when the audience started to turn on him, they gave him that hero's death to seal his legacy. It's a classic move. You make the fans angry so they're engaged, and then you make them sad so they forgive him. Did it work on you? Have you forgiven Derek for the fantasy world he lived in? Personally, I'm still on Team Ashley. I think what he did was psychological torture, even if he didn't mean it to be. You can't just let someone sacrifice their life for you based on a lie. That's not love, that's control. And even though he died saving someone, it doesn't erase the months of gaslighting. I think Ashley has every right to be a mess right now. She's processing a year's worth of trauma in a few weeks. The fact that she's even standing is a miracle in itself. What about the others? Jacob and Naomi, are they off the hook because Derek told them to stay quiet? Jacob at least tried to talk sense into him. But Naomi? She's Ashley's best friend. There has to be a confrontation coming there, right? You can't just go back to brunch and act like you didn't keep a life-altering secret from your BFF. I'm waiting for that explosion. I think when Ashley finally stops mourning, she's going to start getting very, very angry at the people who are still alive. And let's not forget Shanice. She was his therapist, and she's the one who gave Ashley the final bad news. That's a lot of professional and personal lines being crossed. The sources say Shanice always sees through the smoke. She knew what was happening. She's got her own drama going on with Ted, but her role in the Derek secret is definitely going to haunt her. How do you stay friends with someone when you were complicit in their partner's deception? It's a mess. As we look forward to the next episodes, the tension is only going to grow. We have Doug's mission, Joey's mysterious plans with Marcel, and Bill giving orders to Tomas. It's like the show is moving on from Derek, but his impact is everywhere. The plasma ring fallout is just beginning. And with characters like Donnie Carrington's Ren being arrested for Derek's murder, the legal drama is going to be just as intense as the emotional drama. Do you think there's any chance Joey was involved in Derek's death? Donnell is already asking him tough questions about Doug's accident. Joey always seems to be in the middle of something shady. If it turns out he had a hand in the warehouse shootout, Fairmont Crest is going to explode. The sources say he and Marcel are hatching a mysterious plan, and that's never good news. I've got my eye on him. Ultimately, Derek Baldwin's story is a cautionary tale. It's about what happens when you try to control the narrative of your own life instead of just living it with the people you love. He thought he was being a hero by planning a surprise, but he was actually just being a liar. He lost Ashley's trust, he lost his wedding, and eventually he lost his life. It's a heavy price to pay for a moment of glory. Was it worth it? Probably not. I really want to hear your final thoughts on this. Was Derek's lie unforgivable? Or was his death enough to wipe the slate clean? And what do you think of Ashley's new relationship with Grayson? Is he the slick guy Derek warned her about? Or is he her chance at a fresh start? This show always keeps us guessing, and I love it. The drama is top tier right now. Make sure you don't miss any of the upcoming twists. Between Doug's return and the plasma ring aftermath, things are getting steamier, wilder, and hotter, just like the promos promised. Beyond the Gates is really leaning into the classic soap tropes, and I am here for every second of it. It's the kind of storytelling that makes you want to scream at the TV, which is exactly what a good soap should do. If you've stuck with me through this whole deep dive, you're a real one. We've covered everything from the fantasy world to the tragic surgery, and there's still so much more to come. This is why we watch, right? For the secrets, the betrayals, and the moments that leave us speechless. Ashley Morgan's journey is far from over, and I can't wait to see how she handles the next gate that opens in her life. One thing is for sure, Fairmont Crest is never going to be the same. The miracle man is gone, but the shadows he left behind are long. Whether it's the guilt of the friends who knew or the regret of the woman who kicked him out, Derek Baldwin is going to be a ghost in this town for a long time. And honestly, that's exactly how a soap legend should go out. Thanks for hanging out and talking through all this drama with me. It's always more fun to dissect these stories together. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you're the first to know when the next big spoiler drops. We're going to be all over the Doug McBride storyline and whatever else the writers throw at us next. Until then, keep watching, keep questioning, and keep wondering, who's hiding the next big secret? Because in this town, someone always is. See you in the next one, where we'll probably be talking about how Ashley's life has been flipped upside down yet again. It's a wild ride and I'm glad you're on it with me. Bye for now, and remember, if your fiancé suddenly starts walking, maybe check if your friends are in on the joke before you call the news. Just a little advice from your favorite soap commentator. Take care. Was this really just a grand romantic gesture? Or was it something much darker and more calculated? We all love a good soap opera miracle, but the miracle recovery of Derek Baldwin on Beyond the Gates didn't just bring a man back to his feet. It brought an entire relationship to its knees. But here is the real question that has been haunting the fans in Fairmont Crest. Why on earth did his friends, the people who are supposed to have Ashley's back, keep this a secret for months? Today we are breaking down the twisted web of silence involving Jacob, Naomi, and Shanice. We're looking at why they chose to prioritize a fantasy world over the woman who was actually doing the work, and whether their silence was an act of friendship or a total betrayal. Before we get into the psychological breakdown of this mess, I want to know what you think. If you were Ashley, could you ever look at Naomi or Jacob the same way again? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is about to get messy. To understand why this secret is so toxic, we have to look at what Ashley was actually going through while everyone else was keeping the secret. Derek didn't just wake up one day and start walking. He had been making progress for months in physical therapy. While he was regaining his strength, Ashley was modifying her apartment, sacrificing her career goals, and carrying the literal and emotional weight of a paralyzed partner. This wasn't just a white lie, it was a massive drain on her life. Analysis tells us that by staying silent, Derek's friends weren't just helping a friend with a surprise. They were actively allowing Ashley to burn out for a lie. It's a classic case of prioritizing the moment over the person. And in the world of Fairmont Crest, the moment is always a wedding day surprise. Let's start with the first layer of this complicity. Jacob Hawthorne. Jacob is Derek's best friend, his brother-in-arms in the high-stakes world of Fairmont Crest. He found out about the recovery back in September, months before the wedding was supposed to happen. Now Jacob did try to warn Derek. He told him repeatedly that the truth couldn't be hidden forever. But here is my take. A warning without action is just a way for Jacob to soothe his own conscience. Psychologically, Jacob was stuck in a bro code trap. He valued his loyalty to Derek's autonomy over his moral obligation to his friend's fiancé. By not telling Ashley, Jacob was essentially saying that Derek's right to a surprise was more important than Ashley's right to know the truth about her own life. It reflects a deep-seated insecurity in their friendship. Jacob was afraid to push Derek too hard, even when he knew Derek was being a narcissist. Then we have Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne, Ashley's supposed best friend. This is the one that really stings. In any other world, if your best friend's fiancé was faking a disability, or even just hiding a recovery, you would tell her in a heartbeat. But Naomi stayed quiet. The sources suggest she prioritized protecting Derek and his family.